Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dae Radio. I'm your host, Dae, and I am so happy to be recording our first episode in what I'm lovingly calling the All Day Lounge. And for the fact that we're in a certain situation right now, I'm going to have most of my guests be recorded via Zoom that I interview, and also due to the fact that these amazing women are all around the world, and so I get the pleasure of talking with them. But I wanted to first introduce this show because I'm leading with a series that's going to be primarily on breast implant illness, because that is something that obviously I went through, and so many other women have too, and their stories are incredible, and I know that their stories need to be told. So being able to have this platform and ability to share those testimonies is something that I've been called to do, and I wanted to do it back in 2019, and I think I was just so overwhelmed with my own healing process and that journey, going on this crazy spiritual journey, and then really just being broken down to, I would say, probably one of the lowest times in my life. Maybe not in the depression that I had in 2017, but, getting the surgery was my awakening. It was God being like, you're not listening and something needs to change in your life, because I don't like the trajectory that you're on. I was idolizing the life that I was living, both in a relationship, the business I was running, the person I was becoming. It just was incongruent with who God wanted me to be and who I was made to be. And getting sick, I think, was the only thing that was going to stop me. So it's been such an amazing experience watching the progression of where I've been taken. There's been a lot of lows, but there's been some amazing breakthroughs where I just can see how God has had his hand on my life. And I was in I would say a prayer meditation one morning, early 2020, and probably January. And I just heard this voice so audibly that was like, it's time to tell their stories. And it was the same voice that when I was pretty much dying and the doctor said they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and I had just left my relationship and I was so devastated, and I was in this shitty little apartment. It was raining. I had pneumonia. I didn't have Donnie, my ex at the time. I kept him, and I was just pretty much had given up, and I was crying just on the ground like, I don't know what to do, God. And I heard that same kind of audible voice in my head that was like, you got to take him out. I had no idea it had to do with my implants at all, but I listened to that voice, and here I am because of that calling. So I knew when I heard it again in early 2020, I just pressed into, what does that mean? What stories do I need to tell? How do I need to tell them? I had no idea where it was going to lead me. And when I kept praying on it, it would just became clearer and clearer that there are so many women still struggling out there, still suffering and not knowing what's going on with them, that it wasn't just my story that needed to be told, because maybe that wouldn't resonate with some people, but I needed to tell other women's stories because their trials and the things that they've been through because of this illness is so profound, and I want to give up a space for them. But the concept of doing all day radio and using my voice to tell stories goes far beyond just breast implant illness. I think that's the catalyst to me using my voice in this way, but it's also about me being able to be a vessel for other people's testimonies, because I want to show others that we can be vulnerable and raw and real and show their strength through that, because we live in a world that just sugarcoats everything, and we literally put a filter over everything, to where now these younger generations coming up are just seeing this ideal of perfection and not knowing that their suffering is normal, that their struggle is normal. And like, this is how it's just so pervasive in our culture. And it kills me to see these younger kids just being so depressed and anxious and suicidal. And I can't imagine growing up with social media, because I didn't. I came into it later in life, but I do see how it has affected even myself at times. And I think by sharing other people's stories, we can help tear down those walls of perfectionism, of it seeming like everyone has their shit together, because we really don't. And that's one thing that being so open about my journey has showed me, is that if you're just willing to uncover the darkness and pull back the veil, there's more of us out there like each other than not. The world would love to tell us that we're divided and that we don't have much in common. But the fact of the matter is, at our core, we are more alike than we are different. And that includes our struggles. And I was one for thinking that by masking it and covering it up and literally putting these things on my chest, to show the world that I'm strong and I figured it out and I can do hard things. And it was still all just me masking everything that I hadn't worked on in my life, all the pain I had shoved down from my childhood sexual trauma and my years of panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and everything that I thought building a platform online and a lane for myself would somehow heal. And God has an amazing way of showing you that it's not through your own ways. You can try as you might, and you can try to, break all this down on your own, but He's going to make sure that He gets your attention one way or the other. And I was so stubborn and hard-headed that it took, 5-6 years in building my business and in this fitness industry to realize that I was going about it the wrong way. But I don't know if I would have ever realized it had I not got sick. But in that process also became this. It became my calling and my purpose. And now I'm so fortunate to be able to share it with you. So I hope that you come on this journey with me to learn from others, to strip away all the fake that's in the world. And let's get down to the real, raw, authentic truth of people's stories. Because that's all we have. We have our testimonies to share. And that's how we can realize that your journey may be your own, but you're not alone. Let's do this. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to catch more episodes, make sure you subscribe. And please comment any questions you have down below. We'll see you on the next one.